Hello everybody, and welcome to possibly the first video that I've ever posted on my YouTube channel. This is Meister, and this is my new video on how to build ball in your team compositions. Today I'm going to be showing you how you would be able to use ball effectively at C0 with engulfing lightning, of course, with different team compositions. So I think the first thing I should do is probably explain Ball's abilities, because some of you might not know, some of you might not even have Ball, and I kind of want to push this video out before Ball goes away so that you guys can see what Ball can do at C0. My talents for her are level 688. Her normal attack, she uses a spear, so she she is kind of a fast attacker. And she basically is kind of this sub DPS, could be main DPS if you are whaley enough, I suppose. But basically, her elemental skill, it is sort of like Sing Shou's elemental skill, but instead of triggering every time you do a normal attack, it just does a coordinated AoE electro damage attacks on enemies, which means that you only really have to hit one enemy, and then it'll do an AoE kind of like Frost Flake, kind of Ganyu arrow type situation, but it doesn't do as much damage, obviously, because Ganyu's fucking broken. Let's all admit this. Come on, this is a pretty big reason to why Ball is considered a sub DPS. It's because she can use her skill pretty much 100% off the field after you've triggered it. And her ultimate is basically, I'm sure you've all seen the trailer, where she pulls the sword out of her chest and does a massive slash, and that's pretty much her ultimate. And she gets into this stance where all of her attacks are infused with electro damage, and no other like character skill can override this. So for example, if you have C6 Bennett, probably doesn't matter because it cannot be overridden. I'll show you how she plays in a second, but I'll show you the team composition and stuff first. These are her passives. I'm not going to read them out to you because it's just, you know how it is. It's not that interesting. My Ball has 2100 attack, 19,000 HP, 56% crit rate, 114 crit damage, 286 energy recharge, and 99% electro damage bonus. Engulfing Lightning, level 85 out of 90. I haven't gotten it to level 90 yet because man, weapons just eat so much EXP. This is the artifacts I'm running: 4-piece Emblem, Bone, Severed Fate. This is my flower, my plume, my Sands of Eon energy recharge because I'm using Engulfing Lightning, the grass cutter. Attack Goblet because I don't have anything better, and a circlet from Hard Depth because this is the best circlet that I have that would fit for Ball. I have this one, but not as much energy recharge or crit damage, so this one will have to do until I find a better one. C0, like I said, and she's level 80 out of 80, so her talents are 688. I cannot level them up further until I do the fucking boss. That is just such a pain, but fortunately I have Ganyu, so that doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm rambling. The team composition that I'll be using today is Ball as the main DPS, Rosaria as the sub DPS, with Sing Shou as utility and Kazuha as utility as well. I'm going to briefly explain to you how this team composition works, and then I'm going to show it off to you in this domain. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using Sing Shou's ultimate. I'm going to use his ultimate, and then I'm going to use his elemental skill ability to get some energy, and then after that I'm going to swap to Kazuha. with Kazuha, obviously you have crowd control with his elemental skill, and then after I've done his elemental skill and plunge down, I'm going to do his Kazuha slash to get that swirl bubble of reactions, and then I'm going to swap over to Rosaria, use her E to freeze enemies, wait for an opportune moment, because these enemies are very spread out, so Venti would actually kind of be better here than Kazuha. But I'm going to swap to Rosaria, use her E, wait for the opportune moment, I'm going to use her ultimate, and then after that I'm going to swap to Baal, use her ultimate, use her E, and then I'm going to go ham on all the enemies. You might not see as much damage as you might expect from a level 80 Baal with a level 85 Engulfing Lightning, and that's probably because of my artifact quality. I've not been grinding as much as I should have, because I've been focusing on talents and such. But that's basically what I'm going to be doing. So Singsho ult into E, Kazuha's E into ultimate, Rosaria E into ultimate, then Baal ultimate into E, and then slap all the enemies around. So I'm going to show you how this goes, and you're going to observe the damage. Boom! And there you go, that just said 53k damage against that one samurai guy. That is pretty good, I would say. Yeah, I think this is pretty much how this team composition would go. So basically, the thing that you would do here is you would basically attack all the enemies like so with Singsho, set up his ultimate and his E and such, freeze the enemy, and then you would use Baal's ultimates and do just shit tons of damage. The thing with Baal is that she can do just as much damage as a lot of other characters in the game without being as properly built, you could say. So Baal is kind of like a low investment, good return character type of thing. You saw I did 53,000 damage with my Baal's ultimate there, with no Bennett or food. Just with pure swirls and fireworks and permafreeze. So yeah, that's pretty much how that went. This is my first team comp that I figured out on and that I came up with. Obviously there are other team comps that you can use, like for example Raiden National Team, but I'm not going to complain about that because Overload is a bitch, and I'm not going to say anything further about that. So basically, the reason why I have Rosaria in the team in comparison to, for example, I don't know, maybe Chi-Chi or Diona or Chongyun, that's because Rosaria, her ultimate, when you get her to, I think it was C1? No, her C2. Her ultimate ability gets its duration increased to 12 seconds. Because on normal it's 8 seconds, but with C2 it's 12 seconds in total, which gives Baal a lot more time to wreak havoc on the enemies with Singsho and Rosaria's permafreeze. So you could, another alternative that you could do is, of course, for example, Ayaka instead of Rosaria, or Ganyu ultimate instead of Rosaria, but I just found it a lot easier to use Rosaria. She seems a lot more, I wouldn't say friendly, but she does make the team comp fit a lot into a better, smaller package. So that you don't have to have like 3 limited characters in one party just to do some good damage. And and my Ganyu is only C0, so her support capabilities isn't as good as she would be if she was C6'd. So that's pretty much that. You could, of course, just not use a cryo character at all and swap Rosaria out with Bennett or Kujo Sara to boost Bal's base attack and get those massive 100k damage numbers and such. But that is not really what I'm looking for in a Bal team, because I'm sure you've all noticed by now, Bal is kind of slow to pull out her sword or her polearm and use her ultimate and do the damage. It takes a bit from you press the button to her actually doing her ultimate damage. And I figure Rosaria would be the perfect supplement to this with her permafreeze with Xingqiu, and Kazuha is there just for some crowd control. Of course, you can swap out Kazuha with Venti, you can swap her out with Sucrose as well. And overall, this is just, I think, a pretty decent team composition. Obviously, it's not as quote-unquote meta as a national team, but I've already said I'm not going to go too much into national team because that is not something that I particularly take interest in. What you could also do is you could drop permafreeze completely and go for a completely dedicated fireworks team with Beidou instead of Rosaria. In this team composition, you would do Beidou's ult first, and then you would use Xingqiu's ult, and then you would swap to Bal. Obviously, after you do Kazuha's or, Venti's crowd control. Or you could just activate forehead mode and just put Fischl in the party and drop Oz for some free electro damage. That is also an option. Keqing is probably not the best option when it comes to synergy with Bal. Because Keqing is just, she is too focused, like her kit is too focused around being on the field to utilize her electro damage. Or you could be a stupid head and you could use Bal's E to do superconductor with Rosaria in a Keqing comp to do physical Keqing, which would be a very Monka W. Why would you do that? Memes? That's a troll moment. Why would you ever run physical Keqing? That is a meme. Another Bal team comp you could also do is with Child, actually. I can show you this very soon. And by very soon, I mean right now. Alright, so this is the team comp that I have pulled out. I'm sure you can all tell who the main protagonist of this party is going to be. It is Tartaglia! Yay! What did I say about having 3 limited characters in one party? Who cares about that? Everyone has Child, right? Right? This is awkward. Basically, Child here, of course, he's Child, so he is going to be the main DPS of the party, obviously, because his kit is completely focused on him being on the field as much as possible because of his E ability, where he goes into melee mode and he just basically destroys everything. In this team composition, it's a lot like the normal fireworks team with Beidou and Fischl. What the fuck is Fischl? Where you would drop an electro character like Fischl's Oz, and you would basically just get free electro damage. Bal works much the same way as Fischl in terms of their E, because Bal's E also does electro damage off the field. So Child would be the main DPS, right? And then you would have Raiden Shogun as the sub DPS. And then, depending on who you want in your party, you could use Xingqiu, or you could use Beidou or Fischl as the secondary electro character form or battery for your Child's ult. Because the thing is with Child, even though his energy cost for his ultimate is just 60, he doesn't get energy that well without a battery. I'm sure you guys might know this if you don't have his constellations, which I just so happen to not have. So having Xingqiu or even 2 Electro characters like Ball and another would just make Child's life so much easier. You could swap to Child, use his ultimate ability, swap to his melee stance, get your energy fast with Raiden's 300% energy recharge, and you can just use your ultimate again almost immediately. It is insane the amount of battery work that Raiden can do. A lot of you guys might not have all these characters. If you don't have Xingqiu for whatever reason, Mona or Barbara is a great alternative. Mona's E can do a bit of the same work that Xingqiu's ultimate can do by applying Hydro while she is off the field. Same with Barbara's E. I'm sure you all know how Barbara works, I don't need to go through this. But if you do have to resort to using Barbara, God bless your soul and good luck out there, soldier. You're going to need it. I can do a quick showcase for you guys to show you how this comp would work. Basically what you would just do is you would use, again, Xingqiu's ult first, swap to Raiden, use her E, swap to Kazuha for crowd control, use his ultimate, swap to Child. If his ultimate is not up, swap to melee stance. If his ult is up, use his ultimate and then swap to melee stance, and then you should get his ultimate back. Let's see this. Ball E, and then Kazuha E, do this, and then of course you can swap to Child now, and then use his ultimate, do shit tons of damage like so. That wasn't that much, to be honest, that was actually kind of cringe. And then you could use Ball once you feel like Child has done enough. There we go. And now, this is pretty much everything is dead at this point. Very cool, right? Very epic gamer, yes? But yeah, this is pretty much how Ball would work in a full Fireworks team. Obviously, Ball can do the same thing that Visual can, but just with a little more DPS once your Child's off the field. Because that's, I think, what Ball specializes in with this team composition. Because Child, he has a lot of downtime with his E ability, because his E ability's cooldown obviously depends on how much you use him on the field with his melee stance on. So, once you swap away from Child, you could swap to Ball, who undoubtedly there's no fucking way she doesn't have her ult by this point if you build her correctly, and she will just absolutely destroy everything. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that I have to say about Ball. She's a really great character. If you don't want to roll for her, that's fine. If you want to roll for Kokomi and you're one of those, okay, I'm gonna stop. If you don't want Ball, that's fine. I'm just saying Ball is pretty good when it comes to Fireworks and national team setups, and also the permafreeze with the Rosaria that I mentioned earlier. It is a very viable composition, and I would definitely recommend checking it out if you have all the aforementioned characters. And like I said, you don't need Kazuha. If you have Venti, that's fine. If you have Sucrose, that's fine. Kazuha is not necessary for these team comps. He just makes it easier to do all of these things. That's pretty much everything I had to say. Like the video, subscribe, and I will catch you back with some more Genshin Impact videos in the future, hopefully.